In a quiet little village, there once lived a young woman named Lila, who was just 20 years old. She had striking green eyes and hair that shimmered like the sun on a clear day. Though her family had little money, their small cottage was filled with warmth and love. Lila adored stories and spent her days lost in books, imagining a world beyond the village. One sunny afternoon, she wandered to the bustling market and met a young man named Thomas. He was tall, with deep brown eyes and a gentle laugh that made her feel at ease. Thomas came from wealth. His family owned a grand estate and vast fields that stretched across the horizon. The two quickly struck up a friendship. They'd stroll through meadows or sit by the winding river, sharing their dreams and secrets. Thomas spoke of wanting to see the world, while Lila confided her hopes for a life filled with purpose. As their bond grew, so did their feelings. One evening, under a sky painted with stars, Thomas took her hand and said, "Lila, I love you. Will you be my wife?" Her heart soared, and with a smile she replied, "Yes, Thomas, I love you too." They embraced, dreaming of a future woven together. But their joy was soon overshadowed. Thomas's parents disapproved of Lila. To them, her humble roots made her unworthy of their son. "She's not from our world," his mother snapped. "You deserve someone of status," his father added sternly. Thomas pleaded with them, "Lila's heart is pure and true. Wealth doesn't define her." Yet his words fell on deaf ears. His parents warned, "Marry her, and you're on your own." The news weighed heavily on Thomas, but he refused to abandon Lila. Lila, too, felt the strain. She adored Thomas, but hated the thought of tearing him from his family. One day, she met him by the river and said, "Maybe we shouldn't do this. I can't bear to see you suffer for me." Thomas's eyes filled with tears. "Lila, I'd rather lose everything than lose you," he replied. Still, the pressure mounted. Lila's parents, though supportive, grew anxious. "We just want you to be happy," her mother whispered, "but this path looks so hard." Torn between love and duty, Lila spent sleepless nights wrestling with her choice. Finally, she made up her mind. She found Thomas and said, "I love you more than words can say, but your family will never accept me. Let's part as friends, for your sake." Thomas's voice broke as he answered, "I'll respect your wish, but my heart will always be yours." They held each other one last time, tears mingling with their goodbye. Though they chose to remain friends, the ache of what could have been lingered in their souls. Life moved forward. Lila stayed in the village, tending to her family and helping neighbors with a quiet grace that earned her their admiration. Thomas threw himself into his family's affairs, proving his worth while keeping Lila's memory close. Years later, when Lila's father fell gravely ill, Thomas learned of her struggle. Without hesitation, he arrived at her door. "I heard about your father," he said softly. "How can I help?" Touched by his kindness, Lila welcomed him in. He brought supplies and comfort, visiting often as her father recovered. "You're still the same good man," she told him, and he smiled. "I'll always care for you, Lila." Their friendship deepened once more. When Thomas had to leave for work in a distant town, he promised, "I'll write to you." True to his word, letters flowed between them, carrying tales of his adventures and her village life. In time, Thomas built a name for himself, gaining independence from his family's shadow. He never stopped loving Lila. One crisp autumn day, he returned to the village and knocked on her door. Lila's face lit up. "Thomas," she exclaimed. They spent hours catching up, their connection as strong as ever. I still love you, Thomas confessed. I've made my own way now. I don't need their approval. Lila hesitated, then smiled. I love you too, and I'm ready to try. They married in a simple ceremony, surrounded by her family and a few loyal friends. Thomas's parents stayed away, but the couple refused to let it dim their day. Together, they moved to the town where Thomas worked, building a life from scratch. Challenges came, but their love held firm, a steady light through every storm. As years turned to decades, Lila and Thomas raised a family, passing down lessons of resilience and compassion. They grew old, side by side, their hands clasped as they reflected on a life shaped by love's quiet strength. In the end, they knew their journey, flawed, painful, and beautiful, had been worth it. Their love had not just survived, it had thrived, proving that even against the odds, a true bond could endure. And so, with hearts full, Lila and Thomas lived out their days in peace, forever grateful for the love that had carried them through. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.